Hello and welcome to the ProDota 2 National Cup here on ProDota EN. This is going to be a two-game series between Team Portugal and Team Ukraine. This is Team Ukraine's first game in the ProDota 2 National Cup, and as far as their group is concerned, they're looking to be the vast favorites. Although, unfortunately for them, today, Funnick and Havost are not going to be playing with them, and they're going to be replaced by Artis and Wicked Six. So it looks like a mix of CIS, Rejects, and Empire today, but still, that's a very powerful team up against Team Portugal. Team Portugal, in their first series versus Germany, unfortunately just weren't able to pull together a win. It was a very commanding win for Germany's squad, so maybe with these stand-ins and maybe given the circumstances of the day, they'll be able to pull out a victory. I'm Grant SV, and I'm going to be joined by Llama Down Under.
Hello. I'm really excited. New patch hype. I'm hoping these teams, I agree with you. It feels like Team Ukraine has a good solid advantage, just player-wise. I'm hoping they try some new, interesting things. And also just really excited to see what heroes we'll see picked up. Doxia banned out first. A little bit surprised there. But still the standard bans, Lena, Bounty, nobody's still liking Lena, and a Batrider ban. I don't know if the new Aghanims change really warranted that.
Not necessarily the Aghanims change, but with slight nerfs to a lot of the offlaners that competed with Batrider for
Yeah.
that slot, and with the Flame Break change, I think more importantly than the Aghanims upgrade. I think he deserves to be seen a couple more times inside that offlane. The Darkseer ban, I think, is worthwhile. The two in nerf didn't hit him that hard, but as far as Bounty Hunter is concerned, I think that's mostly just because of these teams' playstyles. They like fighting early and often, although the vision nerfs
Yeah.
are huge, don't get me wrong. It still does fit the playstyle pretty nicely. As far as what we're going to see, it's going to be an Earthshaker pickup for the Team Ukraine side. A very good hero for them, and Queen of Pain will be the choice for Team Portugal.
Yes, she's still really solid. She received a slight nerf, but I believe it just basically amounts to 100 damage if you did a 5-man Sonic Wave is missing. Yeah, there are going to be occasions when you miss out on a kill because of that, but she's still a very strong hero. And she's one of the ones where she's kind of good against Earthshaker from the standpoint of if he's played as a support, he'll come mid and fissure you. You have better chances of blinking away. But the immediate Rubik pickup, already good against Earthshaker because he can steal fissure with 0 cost point. I wonder if it's a bit early though, just because you revealed this Rubik, the other team can make sure to try to not pick too many things that are awesome for Rubik. For example, Shadow Fiend. Razor's not the best spell to steal.
Still, I don't think there's ever going to be a game where Rubik's terrible. It's an instant disable, worst case scenario, and already with Fissure on the board, that's enough to warrant the Rubik pick. Even if that's the only spell he steals the entire game, they'll be really
Yes.
happy with it. And Earthshaker, his Fissure did get nerfed a little bit, but 15 damage on all levels of Fissure, in the grand scheme of things, means absolutely nothing. It's more there for the disable and for the wall off. It's an incredible spell, and for now, things are looking pretty standard. If this draft was in 6A4, I don't think anybody would bat an eye, except for maybe some of these bands.
Yeah, and we're seeing the Spectre and the AM banned out. I think I think it's kind of funny, but I agree with you. I think pretty standard pickups. Maybe the only thing out of the usual was that Batrider. And so I'm hoping we see more. I was actually hoping we'd see an Invoker, but looks like we're gonna miss out this game. So
Invoker still feels kind of weak. I don't know, the buffs are
yeah,
nice, but I'm not sure if it's enough to bring him into vogue. And also with Queen of Pain, Shadow Fiend already on the board, presumably our mid lane matchup, I'm not sure if there's really a space for Invoker for both of these teams. But
yeah,
that said,
100%.
yeah, if either team's gonna pick it up, Ukraine could potentially run a safe lane farming Invoker. It's not out of
Also, the
question.
Queen of Pain, we've seen her offlane lost patch a lot last game, just because of that lack of offlaners that we talked about. So, and a Clockwork Doom ban out. Doom being banned out, that's very much something new. The change to Searing, the Burn got changed. I forgot what it's called again. But
Scorched Earth.
Scorched Earth, thank you. It got buffed a bit, and I haven't seen him played yet in a professional match, but there was definitely discussion that that would make him much more viable.
Yeah, and also some tweaks to level death, but across the board, it kind of feels like there are a lot of offlaners that are more viable right now. Tiny, Kunkka, Leech Commander all receiving minor to major buffs on the scale, but all of them I'd like to see in play given different circumstances, although maybe not in these third and fourth picks. As fifth picks definitely, but now, yes, Ogre Magi.
Yes!
I'll let you take this
I'm
one.
Yeah, no, I mean, he really only got small buffs, right? He got +1 armor, he got the buff where now he can bloodlust your towers. I don't think anybody's writing home about that. But it's just something where a little bit more armor. We used to see him a few patches back played in the offlane, and it's just really exciting to see him again. Even if he's played as a support, whatever role, he's just a hero who, kind of got pushed out of the meta. And he's a really fun hero because the multicast can break a game. It can be something where you shouldn't be winning, but you get maybe 3 multicasts in a row and you kill someone. So
Yeah, in my eyes, I don't think Ogre really needed any buffs, and just anything is icing on the cake for the Radiant side. They're going to pick up a Visage now.
he's a pretty standard pick. It's actually something I've seen these teams when they're playing on their actual teams run quite a bit. So just players who know how to micro those familiars well, players who know how to use, making sure to use the Grave Chill in lane and getting lots of soul assumption kills. It's pretty much a fantastic hero. It's just something a lot of players have trouble with that micro. But I think I've seen Always Wanna Fly play it before really well, and no problems there with a Visage pickup. The thing is, the only thing I'm wondering, I do kind of wonder where this Ogre Magi will go. Because if they run an aggro tribe with Ogre Magi, of course he brings a stun and a slow to that. But of course he doesn't have the most fantastic laning, just being melee. So.
Personally, I like Ogre Magi being very nomadic and moving around the map by himself instead of sticking him in one place. Just with like 1 Fire Blast, 1 in Ignite, he can very easily put pressure onto the Shadow Fiend. Queen of Pain only needs a little bit of help to push her over the edge to get kills on that SF. Although the Earthshaker is going to be very annoying for the Ogre to deal with defensively.
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting the feeling that this is just going to be a support Ogre, and we're still not yet seeing the offlaner for the side of Portugal.
Definitely agree. And both teams taking a really long time. There's the Gyrocopter. He also received a bit of a nerf, but is still feeling pretty viable. Although I've already seen the effects of that nerf, right? He just has a bit less damage output. So, and their hard carry going to be a slog. So neither of these sides necessarily have showed us their offlaner. Of course, it could be an offlane Earthshaker. I really do prefer him in the support role, especially with more offlaners opening up with this recent patch. So I'm excited to see what they decide to go with, but I imagine that we'll get... Oh, what offlaners are left in the pool to ban out? Tusk, a lot of people don't really like to play anymore, right? Just because of the snowball. So
yeah. As we kind of touched on, there are a lot of different options, and I'm hoping that we are going to see something a little bit out of the norm. As far as Gyrocopter is concerned, there is probably going to be BKB on the Shadow Fiend this game, and maybe one on the Slark, but yeah, that Call Down losing its BKB piercing slow could be pretty annoying for them. But still, the damage on Call Down remains untouched, and if he gets early aggression going, still could be very potent. It's going to be a Broodmother ban coming out from Team Portugal. Nobody's going to bat an eye at that one, even though Broodmother might not be the ideal pick. They don't have super great heroes to deal with that Brood. Gyrocopter's okay, Queen of Pain's okay, but their supports don't really offer much wave clear at all.
Yeah, it's exactly that issue of you can Fade Bolt the spiders maybe if you see them, but you're not getting rid of them, and Brood will get the level advantage and you die. So, Centaur got a little bit of a buff, but I don't think he would be a particularly fantastic pickup here. He would just die to Slark and Visage. And it's going to be that Night Stalker ban out. I've seen him played support a lot recently. So, he can also offlane. He's very strong. He just has to, being a strength hero naturally, he just has to back up and heal a lot, I find.
That extra 2 regen in the laning stage means so much, though, for the Night Stalker, especially in the offlane. As you kind of already said, he is susceptible to taking a lot of chip damage, but that mitigates it by a lot. So I think it's a reasonable ban as teams are currently testing the waters with this new, albeit smaller, patch.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where just a little bit of regen, right? It can completely turn around the game. It's ridiculous. Something where you weren't previously viable. So let's see what they're going with here. And the other things, as you mentioned, Ogre Magi Rubik both have great roaming potential. It's something where it's a great combo for smoking up. And Lich offlane?
Ooh. I'm not sure this is a Lich offlane by himself. I'm kind of getting the feeling this is a Lich Ogre pressure lane.
Yeah, I think Lich offlane is one of those things that is really deceptively strong. If people don't, the problem is, I feel like it works best when people aren't quite sure how to handle it, and I'm pretty sure the members of Team Ukraine are versed in handling this type of thing. So, as you said, I think they would need 2 people down there.
Yeah,
and
still, Lich...
He did get changed. He got changed so that the sacrifice is now a lot stronger because it doesn't give experience at all.
Yeah, and also you can deny out those catapults and recent synergy
Oh,
now with the Ogre Magi as well as the Lich. Frost
yes.
Armor as well as Bloodlust on the towers is going to make pushing a little bit more difficult for the Radiant side, especially since they've committed to a safe lane Slark, a hero that's not very good at putting tower pressure at all. And now Crystal Maiden's going to be the last pickup. Looks like Earthshaker offlane is going to be the order of business after all for Team Ukraine as we're ready to crash. And there we go! So,
Yes, there's the crash.
absolutely. If my Dota would die already, that'd be great. But we'll be moving on into this game as soon as Reborn will
Yeah,
cooperate with us.
anybody who's been watching Dota for like the past 2 days knows you get a crash when you load in. If you're lucky, that's your only crash, but if you're unlucky, I usually get 5 crashes throughout casting a game these days, so yeah, not the easiest, but I will finally be back in. The players apparently don't crash, so I think that's a nice saving grace.
Well, there we go. My Dota's finally decided to quit itself.
Yeah. So I'm working on loading back into the game and we'll keep you apprised of anything. We already have smoke coming out of Rubik, so it is that early aggression they're hoping to get out. And the Radiant hasn't left it there. They are finally buying items and moving out. Pretty slow load in from them, but let's see.
Well, I'll
we are
reconnect, and before I forget, my hero minimap size is going to be wrong as I load in, so let me change that, and let's reconnect.
We actually have an early smoke already coming out of Team Portugal. They are all 5 smoked up moving into that Radiant jungle, so they will probably run head on to a Slark. Not the best target because he can use that leap away from Pounce, but if they can catch the Visage, this might go a little bit better for them. It would be a 5v4. They're actually wrapping around, placing the ward. Sentry down. They should run right into Slog. Smoke's gonna break. They're gonna see Arts. They're gonna pull him back with that telekinesis. Here comes the Rocket Barrage. He does skill Pounce though, so he's gonna get away. He's taking a lot of damage. He's actually running up through the river. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. Here comes the second Rocket Barrage. Arts is gonna be our first blood. They deny him because they used the Ignite.
And
that
also
was
12
beautiful.
souls for the Shadow Fiend. That's huge advantage for the Radiant side. SF's lane just got a million times easier.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe he just got 12 souls. Completely forgot about that. And of course, the players are all very excited. I have never seen a game, something that I thought was going to go so wrong, go so well.
It was all planned for the Slark, and after that, Aloha Dance now should have a commanding lead over the Queen of Pain, although usually this advantage starts out for the Queen. Now Shadow Fiend's damage is absolutely huge. This is going to be very annoying for Hendrix to deal with, if nothing else, and he also has the potential for a rotation in from the Earthshaker, although Resolution for now is in the offlane. Fissure into double raises once Aloha Dance gets like level 3, maybe level 5. Could very easily set them up some kills, so already Team Ukraine off to a pretty quick start.
Yeah, doing very well. And as you said, it is something where Quap normally has just a little bit better of a time at the beginning of that lane, but she's got no hope pretty much here. She can try to go the Shadow Strike build and harass out Shadow Fiend, but when he's already up to 15 souls at 50 seconds into the game, I don't think that, yeah, I don't think there's any hope. So, in the meantime, it is that Lich. Oh, we haven't introduced the players because of all the crash action, so I don't know if we want to get around to that.
I think we'll just move around as if nothing happened. I'm sure it's all fine.
Okay, well, we're going to be seeing Earthshaker zoned pretty well in that top lane. Rubik actually getting a tower hitting him, and as you said, it is that bottom pressure lane. Lich already down to 0. They're actually doing the Fire Blast out as well, but no Ignite to follow it up because of how much mana that takes, so just gonna be things calming down. And Slark is getting no farm, but he's... You know, he needs experience. It sucks that he's not getting the best of farm right now, but he will start getting better farm, and especially once he hits 6, it'll be no problem. It is a long time to wait, but sometimes you have to do that when when they're running the aggro no farm lane against you.
Yeah, despite having a really farmed Shadow Fiend, he's 10-8 right now, less than 2 minutes into the game. The Slark is going to suffer, and the experience advantage is pretty vastly in the favor of Destro as well as Dota. The offlane for the Radiant side not going to be doing as well, but still the Shaker has managed to find himself level 3. For an offlane Shaker, that's very admirable, although he does have to respect the telekinesis into Rocket Barrage combo. Even though Rocket Barrage does do slightly less damage, it's still very potent.
And Earthshaker gets really lucky. He picks up a bounty rune. This is one of those things when you're that offlane player, you're actually not looking for The real rune, you really want the bounty. CM has smoked up, is headed mid with the illusions. She might be able to get a kill here. Raze is level... Oh, why are you not letting me click on here? Raze is level 2. So, oh, and the Earthshake is coming as well. The Quap sees the CM, though. Her smoke died, and yeah. She's gonna be way too close, and Rubik has also come mid to help out, so...
Yeah, not going to succeed, but still that pressure being applied means Aloha Dance can sit in this lane as freely as he wants. Down towards bottom, they're going to go for a dive onto the Slark, but Pounce connecting onto Dota. The Lich will die to the Soul Assumption. Under tower, Artis is fighting against the Ogre. Artis can't go for much more, doesn't have a lot of HP, but still has a salve to keep himself inside this lane, and just like that, it's going to be your first blood and a 1-0 advantage for Ukraine. That's so much help in this bottom lane, but still Slark is only sitting on 4-0 when it comes to CS. Artis is still struggling, although that is going to help him out a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it's going to accelerate his farm, but at the same time he's still being shut down mightily, farming worse than the Earthshaker. So we will see. And speaking of Earthshaker, he is playing really far up, as you said, the Telekinesis Rocket Barrage combo. He's backing out now. He actually has a ward that I'm surprised they haven't found just based on his movements. You'd expect Rubik to check there, but just doesn't have another sentry, it looks like. Must have split one with the Ogre Magi Lich combo, or used both and failed to find the ward. So really unfortunate there, because that would help them kill up the Earthshaker or just deny him more experience. So, in the meantime, fortification being used for nothing, it looks like.
That could end up being relevant, but right now, as I kind of already touched on in the draft, Radiant's team isn't that good at pressuring out these towers. HeflaTV might be able to get some damage on this tier 1, especially with the catapult wave, but still their tower DPS is very limited, especially in bottom when you have ice armor and eventual bloodlust point, although that's not yet skilled for the Ogre.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it shouldn't matter too much just because we're only 4 minutes in, but I think Shadow Fiend, depending on how this lane goes, especially with his explosive start, might actually be able to take mid tower off of that. So it'll really just depends on what happens. And oh my goodness, he already has 26 souls. It's like, it's hard. Visage staying way off to the side. I was hoping CM will come in, maybe can free someone, but they needed ults to land, begin him with a pounce, I think, but doesn't matter. You don't need to pounce when you have that Grave Chill, and they're gonna kill off Lich. 2 more auto attacks, there they come. And now Ogre Magic trying to do something, but this is what we talked about, being melee, you have to walk all the way up, it's too dangerous, and Lich is so squishy. Yeah, he has good move speed, but that doesn't help you when you've got 3 heroes auto attacking you.
Just not a rotation that was necessarily expected from the Radiant side. They thought the Visage would just go back to lane, and instead he was sitting around inside the river area for quite a long time and not missing a beat. Always want to fly in Wicked Sick, or going to go ahead and smoke up and look for a gank on mid. Previously this didn't succeed, and Rubik is sitting behind the Queen of Pain. They're going to smoke right into the CM as well as the Visage. I'm not sure who's expecting who. The ward right behind the CM and the Visage. They know that they're alone. Scream onto Wicked Sick will drop him low, but in the trade of Rubik's life, 1 auto attack from the Visage will follow him, and there will be a 1-for-1 support trade.
Yeah, it's still pretty good. I think that would favor the Radiant, the Dire, sorry, just because you got the support kill and then the mid didn't get the kill, which is always nice, but at the same time, Quap having a really rough time in this lane. She had to go all the way back to base after that, and that's not what you want your mid to do. Aloha Dance is already level 7. So
50 and 13 compared to 13 and 1. The CS isn't even close, and it's not going to get close. Queen of Pain, as far as mids are concerned, can't farm jungle as efficiently as the Shadow Fiend. She doesn't want to sit back and take stacks.
Yeah, I mean, she can do it, and they're making up stacks for her or the Gyro. Either of them can really take it, but as you said, it's kind of one of those things where it takes you a really long while. It's not just as easy as 2 raises. And depending on how desperate she is, she might end up using the Sonic Wave. I've seen it before, but she is really far behind now. Or more accurately, the Shadow Fiend is really far ahead. So, in the meantime, it's only level 5, so he's hanging back kind of for nothing in this lane, just slowly regenning. Oh, there it is, there. He gets a salve delivered, which probably indicates that they're gonna go again. Visage getting ready from behind. They finally have a ward down to see them, though, and always want to fly in Wicked Sick, immediately know that there must be a ward down, and so they just kind of leave. And it's pouncing away, making sure he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, we'll disjoint that Ignite, and as soon as he does get level 6, as you kind of already mentioned, it is going to get a lot easier for him, but still his CS, his net worth is very low, and they're going to throw another Ignite his way. This time around he doesn't have the pounce and will be forced to pack that one out. Although successful, is still just not getting very much space at all. This game is very centric on the offlaners. The Ogre is the 3rd highest CS in this game, and even the Earthshaker is out farming his Slark. So, I don't know, a lot of pressure on both Resolution as well as on the Ogre, Destro, to perform and make some good rotations. For now, Resolution's going to make a rotation mid, but he's been completely spotted out. Good ward coverage, and Rubik has always been sitting behind this Queen of Pain in case somebody goes for this. This is going to come at the cost of Rubik's experience, but still, will be able to come back at some point or another as soon as they start moving this Ogre.
Yeah, the other thing I'm surprised by is they all putting the farm on the Ogre Magi. Both Ogre and Lich are heroes that you can run with very little health. And Quap actually thinking about going bottom, but doesn't realize she's in full vision. So this is a 4v3 coming out, and they're going for it. Ogre Magi opens, gets the multi-calls. There's a nice figure, and now Quap uses the Sonic Wave on one. Resolution taking a lot of damage too. He might have actually been hit by that, but Quap's gonna go down. One more auto attack from the CM, but Quap also looking to kill the courier. Doesn't go down. Multi-calls down to CM. These multi-calls working out in their favor. But there's the Shadow Dance, and it looks like Ogre Magi probably not going to be able to get away. There's the Dog Pact and the one lost auto attack, but the Lich ultimate, will it bounce back? It does! The luckiest bounces of Lich's life. Yeah, everything actually working out really well for Team Portugal. I did not think they'd have that team fight.
A 4-for-2 exchange. Earthshaker did die to neutral creep, so it doesn't get gold the way of the enemy team, but it's still massively worth it, especially for the Lich. You kind of already touched on it, the Lich isn't getting farm in this bottom lane, but still can contribute if he gets something like an early mechanism for his team, and after that picks himself up like 700 gold. This is going to be mostly transitioned into just utility items, a completed wand, like Tranquil Boots, stuff like that for the Lich, but still, a level 7 Lich can do a deceptive amount of damage. Max up Frost Blast, and as we saw, the ultimate can be very crucial. Portugal will find,
Oh, that's why I was just surprised they're not giving him the farm over the Ogre Magi, because I feel like, while, yes, Ogre Magi has that Ags, which one could argue is quite good, I feel like Lich, utility Lich, a bit better, and, I guess I was a bit surprised, but either one of them will end up just building these utility support items, so.
Aloha Dance, as well as Wicked Sick, are smoked up, and the Gyrocopter has no idea. Petra is going to walk up to farm the creep wave. Fissure open up with a Frostbite into double raises. Petra is going to go down, although he will drop the call down before he dies, and that'll drop Resolution pretty low. Not going to bother the Shaker too much. Will Tango up, has the Soul Ring for a little bit of extra sustain. Rubik's around the corner, and I really don't think he wants to be. Although for now, he's safe because they don't necessarily know where everybody is, but now they're going to show themselves in mid. Always want to fly will die, and now they know that the Rubik is alone. It looks like they want to go for a dive onto Dark Ogre. The Rubik will back off under tower, has some TP support in from his Ogre Magi. Looks for the telekinesis, catches out Aloha Dance. Are they going to be able to get in range for this Fire Blast, I wonder? Ignite's going to multicast, going to the Creep Wave and the Earthshaker. Aloha Dance going around the corner, is going to channel the Requiem, going to unwind that onto Dark Ogre as well as onto Destro. Looking for the straight TP out after the fact, will succeed in that. Queen of Pain going to blink forward, slowing down Wicked Sick. Hendrix trying to kill off this CM is hard, unless they get the Fire Blast just in time with a multicast and a Fade Bolt to secure the kill. The kill score is going to be tied up 6-6. Requiem on cooldown, and another pretty big win for Portugal, although it does cost them massive rotations.
Yeah, and I think it's well worth it. Queen of Pain also got a kill on Visage, I think in the mid lane during that whole engagement. That's why she didn't have the Sonic... Oh, well, she didn't have the Sonic Wave, it was still on cooldown from the fight before. But I think really nice of her to get all this kill involvement. Actually, maybe gonna kill Always Wanna Fly again. I don't think she has the damage. She does have the Sonic Wave, though, but she'd need to blink forwards, and then she wouldn't have enough mana. So, deciding to give up the goose there, but... Yeah, I think really good to get this early kill involvement will certainly help her get back in the game. We can see she's making the beginnings of a comeback, considering how far behind she was on the Shadow Fiend, but he is still huge. A really nice play there, just Requiem of Souling in the middle of the trees so no one could see him. And Slark has been completely, as you mentioned, the rotations. Slark is now farming fine. He still has a long way to catch up, but Slark can farm stacks a little bit with that Dark Pact, so...
Yeah, it's not as much that Queen of Pain is super far behind where you'd expect a Queen of Pain to be 11 minutes in. It's that the Shadow Fiend is super far ahead. Right now with almost 500, 600 GPM at this point is almost unheard of, 106 CS, and a completed Shadow Blade. He's going to try to use the Shadow Blade to get a kill up towards top. They have a Radiant Sentry in the lane. They expect there not to be any vision around the corner, and maybe this is going to catch them off guard. Prism of the Dark Lord is skilled. The Petra is paying a lot of attention. Will note there's Shadow Fiend around the corner, but it's too late, even if he did notice, as they'll be able to kill him off with the Shadow Blade hit and one raise. So much damage coming out from this SF. The Shadow Blade pickup is risky, but since it's gotten so early, I think Aloha Dance can make pretty good use of it.
Yeah, it's also, as you mentioned, I think it's fine to go when you're super far ahead. Actually, thinking about going in on the Lich. Oh, they actually missed the raise, but 2 auto attacks should pretty much do it. Yeah, with the Visage builds to help out, he is very dead, but there are a lot of rotations coming in. There are sentries down, so they can actually see Aloha dance. Visage builds try to stun someone out. Now Quap is here. She should be able to see this. She's just staying by the creep wave. Either way, she now knows he's way under tower, and they fissure, and 1 raise is going to take her out with the help of the Visage Familiars and Rubik going down as well. Telekinesis way too late, and that was pretty devastating for Portugal. You can't just be having folks who rotated up dying like that.
Always Want to Fly gets himself a triple kill, and now after just recently picking up the medallion, has 1100 gold in the bank, almost Solar Crest on his Visage. Is going to be terrifying, although it is a little bit less impactful when you're going for those Roshans, and the evasion isn't as good. It's still a great item to have on Visage. The birds do a stupid amount of damage when you have that minus 10 armor applied to the enemy target, and it's still okay for doing Roshan, combined with the presence of the Dark Lord. Still
more than
an
enough.
option. Yeah, more than enough for the Radiant team.
The other thing was in bottom lane, Slok, Ults on that Slok did enough damage to Ogre Magi that he just had to TP out. And this is the power of Slok, right? He can just farm up the lane, he maybe takes a little bit of damage, he goes hides in the trees, he's full health, right? Ogre Magi actually managed to hit him with a multi, and it doesn't matter because you're a Slok. So, getting a little bit rough for this side of Portugal, we can see. Now, their Gyrocopter is going to get online at some point, but, well, he's a very aggressive hero that can fight early, but a Slok with the Shadow Dance will evade a lot of that magical damage, and Slok will most likely also pick up a Shadow Blade, which is not, when 2 members of your team have Shadow Blades, they're going to have a lot of vision for it, but at the same time, you are hurting their economy just by buying it, so they have to pick up those sentries and dust.
Yeah, and the Rubik and Lich really don't want to be buying detection. You'd much rather have a blink on your Rubik, mechanism on your list. They're going to get Lich smoke down towards bottom onto Artis, so get the pounce away, and Shadow Dance TP. Artis is just fine. No AoE stun for them to be able to cancel him out of that, and he will retreat. So smoke unsuccessful, although it does force the Slark off of lane, which in and of itself is a bit of a win, but maybe even bigger a win. Resolution has his Blink Dagger up and running. 14 minutes in, pretty fast blink for an Earthshaker, even though he was laned in the off lane, so this first rotation should be pretty big for the Ukraine side.
Yeah, he actually farmed that up ridiculously fast by getting all those kill involvements up top. He was nowhere near it about 4 minutes ago, or when he died a while back, and then suddenly being involved in like 5 kills in a row just meant that he managed to get it up. So, yep. Either way, we're seeing maybe a little bit of a push in mid. Of course, with the Visage build, they have a lot of push. Rubik just gonna be auto-attacked and fissured down. And yeah, there's not much to do when you're a Rubik against a level 12 Shadow Fiend and you're level 6, right? He has more than enough auto attacks to kill you. This Shadow Fiend on Aloha Dance might just be taking over this game. It might not matter what else is in this game for his team.
Yeah, his inventory looks fine for like 15 minutes in, right? But then look at his bank. He has almost 3,000 gold on top of all of that. Blink and Echo onto Hendrix. They'll blow up the Queen of Pain. And now get a pounce onto Destro with a couple more auto attacks. They'll be able to rip him apart. Double kill for Aloha Dance. Lich ultimate is good. Cooldowns there. Always Want to Fly is going to go down. As CM channels her ultimate lifted up by the Rubik will be canceled out of that one. They're going to lose the Visage at 2. Can Aloha Dance get out to safety? He's going to look for the TP. Very risky, but the damage, it's there with the Sonic Wave. And Queen of Pain will be able to not only kill off the SF, but claim his mega kill streak too. Started out really good for Ukraine, but turns around in the end for Portugal.
And before that fight, Ukraine had a 7.5k net worth and a little under 4k experience lead. We're going to see that dive right back down. But this Lich, can we just talk about how he gets the luckiest bounces I've ever seen?
Absolutely.
Both of his ults that I've seen have been really fantastic, and that's just pure luck.
Yeah, it really is, but it combos perfectly for them. Almost instantly kills off the 2 supports, and
yeah,
it's one of those spells that, if you're lucky with it, can be one of the best ultimates in the game, but if you only get 1 bounce, it's very underwhelming. But fortunately enough for Portugal, it's been working out.
Yeah, at the same time, while that was all going down, Slok just gonna go back, gonna go keep farming up, getting close to his own Shadow Blade. And he's going to start to become a nuisance. He can definitely pick off a Rubik and an Ogre Magi with that Shadow Blade Shadow Dance, so he might just do that, continuing to buy space, not only for his farm, because farming heroes is worth more, but also just so that the Shadow Fiend can get bigger and bigger. As we said, he lost quite a bit of gold, well, he lost a bit of gold there, but it looks like he's going a BKB. He could also be going a Deso, but I'm going to assume a BKB. It's interesting. It'll block a lot of Gyro's damage, of course. The disables coming out of Gyro, Ogre Magi, and Sorry, there's a gank about to happen. So Rubik, we're gonna see Ogre Magi probably gonna take a few auto attacks. Is Alohdon's gonna do it? There's the fissure. 1, 2, 3. Oh, actually, he needed like 4 auto attacks there. So just getting it with the raise. But yeah, Alohdon's is huge. But yeah, with I'm interested in this BKB just because Lich does have a mini stun on it, and Klopp's ultimate, of course, is pure damage. But I think other than that, he'll block everything. Like he won't take the damage on Chain Frost.
Yeah,
so
the right click
like
DPS.
A pretty great pickup.
Yeah, the right-click damage coming out from the Gyrocopter isn't quite there, and although Queen of Pain could scale, she's also not quite at that point either. And, oh, mid lane, the Shadow Blade going to be shown up by Artis. Pounce is going to be on the money onto the Lich, and we'll be able to bring him down, although can he get out cleanly? It'll take him a couple more auto attacks than he wanted to. He'll drop a pack, trying to pounce away. The Pounce is going to be dodged by Patrio. Artis is going to walk right into a Queen of Pain. Artis, juking through the trees, is starting to get some Shadow Dance regen. The Slark is surviving because he has some backup coming out from the sidelines. His familiar stun going to miss. Although there is an Echo Slam. Looks like Resolution is waiting to see if they commit, but everybody will just go home their merry way. But yeah.
Oh, Queen of Pain has picked up a gem, and that's why in that engagement I was expecting her to aggressively blink forwards and Sonic Wave because she could have killed Alt, but instead she has the gem, so she had to play a little bit more passively, realizing he wouldn't be that ham without backup. And so I do like this early gem pickup, but at the same time it's going to affect her play. But there is nobody else on her team who can carry it.
Yeah, so. I think Queen of Pain's a reasonable gem carrier, though. She'll be able to take out some of these deep wards that have been giving the Ukraine team so much intel to, on top of the Shadow Blades that you already mentioned. She's been sitting on it for a couple minutes now, and I'm honestly surprised that so many wards still remain on the Radiant side. They have 2 out, and that's reasonable.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, but I think just they've been too scared to go out of their base since they knew they were all of Team Ukraine was in their jungle, so Portugal playing way
Blink
back.
Echo? Maybe? Does he even need it? Echo Slam gonna walk into it, smack her down, Fissure Soul Assumption, and the gem is claimed by the Radiant team, and that's why they were afraid from leaving in their base. They'll be punished for it heavily. Not only is that a gem away from them, the Shadow Blades will get a lot stronger, but now their map control is gonna go completely down, as if they weren't scared enough already.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure what she was doing there. It felt like she was trying to do the play, oh, it's too dangerous, I'm going to farm their jungle. But you have to know, with a Slark and a Shadow Fiend, they're probably in both jungles at best, right? You know, this is going to be very fast. Solar Crest already up on Always Wanna Fly. We already talked about just how much minus armor it gives. But also, I mean, not that there was much right-click. You can just pop it on the Shadow Fiend and now he has more armor. Or you could pop it on the Gyro if you're really worried about the auto attacks, which he still doesn't have yet. Gyro's one of those heroes where early game, most of his damage is magical. Late game, maybe he has those 6 flat cannon shots with an MKB or something of the like to be actually doing damage. And he doesn't even have a Sanj and Yasha. He's working on a BKB, but it doesn't feel like it's going to be enough at 90 minutes into the game, and Slark is hunting.
No, really, he needs the BKB and a Monkey King bar that you were mentioning to deal with that Solar Crest, and yeah, there's no safe place for him to get these items. The Ukraine team are starting to seize control over the map, although it's been a bit of a bumpy ride here for Ukraine. They've finally put themselves in the driver's seat, now are looking to collapse on a Petro. They have a TP into the tower from the Earthshaker. Pounce is going back, he turns around with the call down, but Artis is there. They'll blink and blow up the Gyrocopter, and there's really no counterplay as the supports are all down towards bottom and mid.
Yeah, in bottom there's gonna be a push. I don't think they can do anything to stop this. Queen might just scream just to get them off the tower, but
well, their tower is gigantic and has frost armor.
Oh my goodness, the tower is gigantic. I haven't seen that interaction yet, and oh, that was interesting. But at the same time, it's not enough against the Shadow Fiend at this point in the game. But yeah, they're gonna delay the push, but now Slark has TP'd into that bottom tower, so he's gonna be coming down. They actually throw out a blast onto Shadow Fiend, trying to slow him down a bit. He's just gonna raise down this creep wave, getting ready, and they denied the tower ultimately. So that's something.
It's not enough to protect the tower, but it is enough to secure the deny. That extra armor and that extra attack speed too. I haven't seen it either, but it is pretty good at killing off those creep waves. Yeah.
It's bigger. It doesn't seem. Oh, it's a bit faster. It doesn't seem that much faster, but
it's only also, level 1 bloodlust, to be fair.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think he's maxing that, and Shadow Fiend playing way up, but they just dropped a sentry right on top of him. No follow-up, actually, just running away scared, and of course they immediately deward that since they have the stolen gem. This mid tower looking like it's gonna fall really quickly. Resolution staying way up front for a little bit, just making sure he could Echo Slam if he wanted to catch anyone out. And now they're ready to siege the high ground, right? You have Aegis, you have a Shadow Fiend who is huge, and Ogre Magi walking forwards a little bit, but I don't know what they can do here to defend. Multicasting a creep, you know, it's a good start. Should probably ignite that wave to at least get a little bit of pressure on it. And Quap was trying to pressure top. Actually, the Earthshaker TP is back, so maybe this push won't be happening. A little bit surprised they didn't bother just continuing with the push. They only have 2.5 more minutes on the Aegis, and it's one of those things where you really want to use it in that small window.
Although they want to use the Aegis, again, they still just don't have the tower damage. Aloha Dance, although he's terrifying when it comes to killing off these heroes, they don't have any way to accelerate that tower push, and with those extra buffs, most importantly, the Frost Armor coming out from the Lich, it probably would have taken a full 2 minutes to chip down that tier 3, if they even get the tier 3. So I think it's fine just to back up and farm. They'll get more acceleration that way.
Most certainly, and yeah, it is really funny. The Frost Armor actually huge on towers, and even without this Aegis, right, they're so far ahead. They're over 15,000 net worth ahead. They had that slight dip when they lost that little team fight, but now they've doubled their lead, and their experience is approaching 10k. DD on Resolution, if he wants to take it, he might save it to Shadow Fiend. But you know, those big enchant totems, I'm excited. Oh, actually, he has like no damage. He's bottled DD. We'll see a big enchant totem out of him yet. But either way, it looks like they're rallying for the push bottom. Both CM and Quap not pushing. I guess CM's like, I give you aura, it's fine. I'm not going to use Freezing Field anyway. And Slog, he's getting ready to go into the base. He does have, of course, that Shadow Dance will help him get out of a lot of trouble. He's getting stunned up. He does use the Dark Pact, and not too much happening. They don't even bother to put the Visage Birds on the tower. A little bit surprised there.
They'll only get a little bit more than 50 damage onto that tier 3 and are forced to back off. Visage Familiars are probably one of their best solutions to solve this pushing problem, but they really need a pick before they can start committing. CM has recently picked up her Glimmer Cape since Wicked Sick has been farming there, and a contribution inside these team fights will go a lot greater with that extra bit of invis, but yeah, let's see.
It feels like they're waiting for something. It could be the butterfly on Shadow Fiend, but I'm not quite sure why that would be the item. I mean, he has a 10-second BKB. Yeah, the butterfly's nice. They're not actually hitting you with physical damage. So maybe it was that Glimmer Cape, just wanting to make sure they have extra magical resistance so the supports aren't in trouble. Looking like they want to try to pick off Queen of Pain. They know that she's just been hiding up here, slowly sieging this tower. And hoping to catch her on the way back, but she's going to TP out. So everybody just going to kind of go back to farming.
I think that's fine. Well, if you take a look at Ukraine's team, they have heroes that scale pretty great into the late game. Earthshaker, one of the better late game utility heroes, supports. Visage also does quite a lot, and Slark and Shadowfiend, should they get stacked, are absolutely terrifying. It is really hard to break the base, and it's something that I don't think they really want to commit towards now. It's just a tad too risky. The Aegis has been reclaimed. Aloha Dance not going to have that available. Roshan will be up in 5:44. And although this next round of items probably not going to be it to push into the high ground, just wait until Shadowfiend has his next pickup. Scotty will be done in the Slark by then. And maybe if you can catch somebody out of position. I think the biggest advantage right now for the Radiant side, if we take a look at Ukraine's vision, they know exactly whenever the enemy team is leaving their base. Queen of Pain right now, spotted out, and anybody that would back up the Queen of Pain is spotted out. So right now they're just going to keep them bottled in behind that line, even though it is a little bit buggy right now. You get the picture. They're farming up the entire map, whereas the Dire can only get what's coming to their front door.
And as you point out, there's a lot to be said for not giving away that big lead. There is still the rubber band effect, right? Aloha Dance maybe does. Actually, he takes a rocket to the face. Can they follow up on this missile? Rubik, he's turned invisible. The Rubik is coming around. They dropped sentries though. Queen of Pain being echo slammed in mid though, and she falls immediately, and there's no return. Lich almost being 3-shot down. There's a big cooldown, but it's not enough. Rubik falls. Gyrocopter does have his BKB up. He's gonna kill Always Wanna Fly, but that's a Visage. I don't know if that's maybe the target you want dead. Slog gonna kill up Ogre Magi with a pounce, and now we've got Gyrocopter trying to desperately get away, but Earthshaker gonna just pick him off, and Shadowfiend getting the last hit. This is more than enough to siege high ground. I think they were waiting for that Roshan, but when you've got 4 dead, and you're pretty sure they don't all have buybacks, because you can tell by their item progression whether they bought out. So yeah, this tower most likely going down, and probably the racks with it too. They can also take another set of racks. The Quap might buy back. There is just a casual freezing field. It's for zoning purposes or just to look pretty. It is the Arcana, you know, very important that you show that off. This tower, even with just level 3, I think now, no, still level 2 Lich armor, that tower took ages to go down. Now we can see the racks taking a long time. This actually might be enough time. Queen of Pain coming in the back, Sonic Wave. Everybody's super low. She throws out a dust, but nobody is following her. And somehow they've held this range Drax, and they're beginning to chase. Gyrocopter has brought back. The Queen of Pain does blink forward and scream, but Slog might just pick her off. There's a cooldown coming up, but Queen of Pain does fall. Slog in that Shadow Dance, always want to fly, has respawned and is coming back in. Slog just going to be completely dodging everything. He might come back in from behind. They see him now. He does not have the Shadow Blade for 6 seconds. They manage to get a multi-cast. He purges it off, but they might have more than enough damage, do they? They do. They manage to pick off the Slog, and that's going to be a huge kill. But Earthshaker, he's thinking about coming in. He doesn't have that Echo Slam. He might just fissure and casually walk away, but that's huge turnaround kills for the side of Portugal.
Still.
And I can't believe they didn't lose both racks.
Still, they lose the melee barracks, and it costs them a gyrocopter buyback. As good as that turnaround is for them, it doesn't bring them in a better situation in this game, and the advantage is still heftily in the favor of Ukraine. Although you can see the graph starting to level out after they get a couple of return kills for it, at best case scenario, that's an even trade when it comes to gold, and the racks will tip that in the scales of the Radiant side. Blink away by the Earthshaker will dodge that Ignite, but yeah, this is going to be a very hard game because they need this gyrocopter to transition into some big damage items. Ideally MKB, but that feels miles away. Right now, his net worth is about even with the Earthshaker. Not a happy place.
Yeah, it's just the Shadow Fiend. I mean, he's doubling anybody on the Dire's side net worth. I don't. It's not something that's easy to come back from. Yeah, they've got a gyrocopter, but as we said, he can go super late. Even his super late isn't that fantastic just because you only get those 6 flat cannon shots every 30 seconds. You're not someone like a Luna, maybe, who gets bounces always. You only have 6 of those shots, and if you don't kill off most of that enemy team, well, you're in a lot of trouble. So, Ogre Magi has finally picked up a 4-star, looks to be working on that Aghanim Scepter. Gyrocopter has drums and BKB and phase boots, casual Morbid Mask. And Lich does actually have a Solar Crest, that's really impressive, but at the same time, popping it on the Shadow Fiend, I don't know how much utility you're gonna get, and that no longer goes through BKB. Oh, a big Echo Slam onto Ogre Magi. There's the cooldown hoping to save him, but he's already dead. Aloha Dance BKB, and he is taking no damage, and now just channeling that Requiem of Souls, gonna hit the Rubik, and Rubik probably gonna take one more hit. Yeah, he's gonna use the long range raise. At least Rubik explodes with the Requiem of Souls as well, but Earthshaker, he's forwards now. Quap has no hope. There is the freezing field. There is a Lich ulti, but it actually does bounce back to the creeps. Hits Wicked Sick. Hits Always Want to Fly at the same time, though. They're picking up the front lines. Quap has brought back, and Sonic waved in the back lines. Can she blink forwards and do something? Oh, and guess Aloha Dance's positioning. She needs a blind blink scream. She can do it. Scream. She can do it. One more. Oh goodness, he's regenning up, though. He heals just with the normal lifesteal and gets out. Now Ogre Magi taking a lot of damage. Almost killed Resolution, but Slot gonna finish him off before he can find him. And the multicast maybe gonna delay the inevitable, but he is still most certainly dead. Resolution actually blinking back in and toteming to kill him. And that's her GG call.
Yeah, nothing more that Portugal can do, but they put up a good fight. I think it goes to show, like, at least for the first 10 minutes of this game, the laning stage was very even. The players individually on Portugal's side are fairly skilled, high up there on the MMR leaderboards, and, well, we'll just have to see if they're able to pull things together in game number 2. There's definitely a chance to type this series 1-1. I've been GreatSV, she's been Llama Down Under. You can find us on Twitter under both of those names. Shout out to the sponsors, Gozu Gamers, G2A, Hitbox, esportgaming.com, and Dota 2 Lounge. We'll be back to you with game number 2 in just a minute. See you then.